everyone. This is your host, Brittany, and thank you for joining me on this week's episode of PCAT and Pre-Pharmacy Podcast, where we talk everything pharmacy from the pre-pharmacy journey to life after pharmacy school. Now, in the world of technology, there have become different options that students have to obtaining their doctorate of pharmacy degree. Now, if I haven't mentioned before, I have chosen to do a distance pathway rather than the traditional on-campus route. And when I tell people about my program and they ask me, when am I leaving for school? And I tell them I'm not really going anywhere, I can watch my lectures online and do hands on things during the summer when I go to the actual campus. They kind of give me a weird look like they don't believe that I'm attending a legit school. And it's okay. I do see this maybe coming an option at other, like more pharmacy schools in the future. But right now, I don't think that this option is available for all schools. And also, this was an option for me before the quarantine and things started. So this was a legit distance program that already existed before everything that's going on in the world now. So to give you guys more information about this option, I did invite somebody who is going into her fourth year. She is in a distance program like I will be attending. And she's just going to talk about like what her typical day looks like and how she's able to stay connected with her classmates and then also still be engaged in school activities. So if this is something that you're interested in, make sure to stay tuned. Now let's get started with the show. Okay, hi Kemi. Thank you for joining us today. Can you please tell the audience a little bit about yourself?
Okay, hi everyone. My name is Kemi Lewis. I'm originally from West Lafayette, Indiana. In the past few years, I spent a little bit of time living in Washington State, but I moved back here to Indianapolis now about a year ago.
Oh, wow. You're not that far away. I'm in Chicago.
Yeah, that's like Actually, I was in Chicago for my birthday this year in January.
Oh, I didn't know. We'll hook up after.
So, in my free time, which is pretty limited these days, school keeps me pretty busy, but I enjoy watching TV, like binge watching reality TV shows or whatever I find on Netflix. I like to talk with my family and spend time with them. I also like shopping and pampering myself, honestly, because life is stressful and
Who
it's
doesn't?
nice to, yeah, right.
Oh, good. Thank you so much for that. Can you please tell us like what attracted you to the pharmacy profession?
Okay, yeah. So how I started, I guess, my path to pursuing a PharmD, I got a job at a community pharmacy actually. So I started working at that pharmacy in June. And then at the time I was already in college. I was a biology major and I knew I wanted to work in healthcare. I just didn't know what capacity. So I was just a biology major and I really fell in love with the job. And so I decided that following semester, I was going to change my schedule and be a pre-pharmacy major. And so that's what I did.
Oh, great. Now, did you do a gap year or anything, or did you go straight into pharmacy school?
So um, yeah, my journey to pharmacy school was pretty odd, I guess, or I
Oh
don't
no, that's why we're here. Tell us all about it. We want to know.
know. Okay, so after high school, I went to a small school for a year and I played tennis there. Um, and I ended up moving back home after that first year, and then I started going to a community college. And then after that first year, or excuse me, next year back home, I decided to go to Purdue. And that's where, I was like, okay, I'm going to be a biology major. And I still didn't know what area of healthcare I wanted to pursue. So then during that year, or excuse me, after that year, I ended up that was that June when I got that job in the pharmacy. And so after that, after I decided I'm going to pursue pharmacy, I transferred schools again because I wanted to have a bachelor's degree to fall back on just in case. And so I decided to be a health science major with a concentration. Like basically, I ended up going to IUPUI here in Indianapolis. And so they have a degree where it's health science, but it's for people that want to go pre-med or like their pre-optometry or, anything like that, which really is what I thought I wanted to do first, which was optometry. But anyways, I ended up doing pharmacy. So I graduated with my bachelor's degree in 2017. And then I started pharmacy school the same year.
Oh, okay. That's really cool. I was like, Purdue. I know that. That's down the street. But okay, so the pharmacy school that you attend, you don't actually go to class like traditional lecture. So can you please tell like our audience about like the pathway that you took once you got into pharmacy school? Because a lot of people don't really know that some schools are offering that option.
Yeah, so honestly, I didn't even know about this particular school until I was in the middle of applying for pharmacy school. My now husband was in the Army, and so that's how I landed on deciding to be a distance student. I thought we were going to have to do the long distance thing for a while, but after I applied to my number one choice school, Creighton actually sent me a letter, and they asked me to apply. So that's where I go, Creighton University. The school's in Omaha, but I live in Indianapolis, like I said. And so, well, now I do live in Indianapolis. I've moved a couple times while I've been in school, so that's been pretty cool too. I really like the flexibility that the degree offered, and that I could continue to be wherever my husband was if need be, but then also continue to pursue my goal. And so that's how I landed on that.
Oh, good. And can you just give us like, say this is a lecture day or something like that? Can you just give like the audience like a typical rundown since you have the flexibility of being home and not attend physical lectures? Like, do you have to attend lecture or how does it go?
Okay, so really it kind of just depends on the class. When I was in Washington, which that was like the first 2 years of the program, I was obviously on Pacific time, the school's on Central time. And so we would have lectures that would start at 8 a.m., which that was 6 a.m. my time. I'm
Oh,
not really a huge morning person, so I was not one of those two students that was attending live. But as a distance student, if you do attend live, some professors do make accommodations to where you can, kind of chime in, ask questions. They have different ways of allowing us to do that. It's not like you have to type your question and everything, but at least they're there for us in that way. So, yeah, it really just depends on the class. But for instance, one of my courses, you want to listen to all your courses. You're paying to be there, of course. You want to listen to all the lectures. And so one of them, though, they would have, kind of creative ways to make sure that you were tuning in and really, listening to the whole lecture. But I kind of structure my day based on, I guess, how I feel, So I definitely listen to the lectures when I'm supposed to on that day, but it might be a little bit later in the day or a little bit earlier in the day. But I would listen to the recordings. They record everything. And so you can listen live or you can listen to the recording later on. And so, like, for instance, one semester, the campus students had lab on Wednesdays. So every Wednesday I would have off from class because we do lab in the summer. So they would do their labs on Wednesday. And so Wednesday could kind of be like a catch up day if I ever did get behind on lectures. But for the most part, I try to stay on top of them. And it was cool because, I would work sometimes and then, can catch up on lectures a little bit later on. And so I'd kind of just do it that way. It's really your own schedule. It's not like you have to be in class at 8 a.m. Of course, if you're able to do that, since I've been here on Eastern time, I've been able to do that a little bit this last year. But really, it's, you can kind of make your own schedule. Of course, there's still deadlines and everything. And so you got to be on top of your stuff. So you definitely don't want to get too behind. I've got classmates that got a little behind and, it gets a little crazy.
Oh, great. Now, how do you I think I've said this on the podcast before, but that's the school that I'm attending and that's the pathway that I chose as well. And just like when I tell people that, they kind of look at me kind of funny because I guess they haven't heard of it, and they're like, "Are you sure you're in a real school or something like that?" So that's one of the reasons why I really wanted to have you on, just to tell people like this is an option that's coming available and it's a real thing.
Yeah, actually, I kind of got some of those same questions as well. I still get those same questions. Like I just started rotations yesterday, and like one of the pharmacists, they asked me, where do I go to school, and I told them, and they're like, wait, isn't that all the way in Omaha? I'm like, yeah, but I live here, and like it's different for rotations. You can do rotations wherever you want, I guess, but I kind of explained like, yeah, I'm a distance student, and so it's a real thing. They definitely make sure they protect the integrity of the program, and it's actually, I would argue, sometimes more difficult as a distance student because you don't have that ability to just go up to the professor after class and ask a question. You gotta sit down and formulate a nice formal email, or I mean, and all that. So it's kind of difficult, but I do like the flexibility that it provides.
Oh, good. Now, you mentioned the labs, like the on-campus students have labs on certain days and you take it in the summer. So do you go to campus do you go to Omaha for the summer?
Yes. So that's arguably the worst part of the program is summer lab, because it's just so intense. It's a whole semester of um, lab work that you need to get done in like 2 or 3 weeks. So it's really intense. But I would argue that I do like having it that way because then, during the semester I'm able to have one day off during the week that the campus students don't have. So yeah, every summer you go to Omaha. Actually, before class even started, like your first year, you go for a welcome week. And so you get to meet some of your classmates that are also distance students and campus students, face to face, and, meet them, get to know them a little bit, which actually is pretty cool. Some of the people that I met welcome week, I, ended up studying with throughout the whole program. So that's nice. So it's well, the first year, before the first year, it's 1 week. And then after the first year, I think that's the longest time that you're in Omaha. It's about 3 weeks. And then the next year it's 2 weeks, and it does cut your summer short though. So that kind of is difficult, especially with IPPEs that you have to get done during the summer. But it's totally doable, and it worked for me.
Okay. And you mentioned you meet some of your classmates and some that are also distant students. Like, how do you guys stay connected once you leave for the summer?
Yeah, so of course there's social media. We connect on there. We actually have a Facebook page that somebody our first year was nice enough to make for us. And so we talk on there a lot. People that I talk to, more often one-on-one, we Zoom, text. Technology is great, FaceTime. So we stay connected that way. Um, it's crazy. Like I talk to them so much, like sometimes even more than my husband, like a lot of times. And it's like I've met them like 3 times, you
Oh,
know?
that's good to know that there's a connection and you don't feel like you're by yourself.
No, no, definitely not. I definitely, had to put myself out there that first summer, to try to meet people, go to social events, get to know people. But it was a lot of fun too. And so those are like the people, like my day ones, like they've been with me through this whole didactic portion of the curriculum.
Oh, good. That's good to know. I'm an extroverted introvert, so I like to talk. Just depending on if I get to know you a little bit, but other than that, I might seem like a little standoffish because I don't really like to start conversations, and I don't feel weird not talking.
We
I'm
have that in
definitely
common.
fine. I'm definitely comfortable not speaking, like sitting next to each other and not speaking, but I'm gonna do better.
Yeah, we have that in common. Yeah, for sure. And then also like after I've got like chunk of time that I've spent with people, talking with people, like after I got home today, just like from my second day of rotation, like my first full day, I had to like kind of go chill for a little bit by myself. I just got to recharge with, some time by myself. So, but I can be, extroverted if I need to be. So we have that in common.
Great. Now, you just started your rotation, so do you plan on doing a residency, or what are like your plans after graduation? Do you have any idea?
I really wish I knew. I um I probably should have started exploring this earlier on in, I guess, going through the program. I've been like so focused on like, I want to finish, I want to graduate. But like lately I've been thinking and I've kind of narrowed it down to a few career paths that I'm interested in. I've considered going like the fellowship route and um, getting into industry. That's really going to depend on how my industry rotation goes, which that's not until the spring. But um, I'm definitely trying to learn more about industry. I know that community will always be there. And so it is something like that I've loved. It's kind of what made me fall in love with the profession. And not kind of, it is what made me fall in love with pharmacy in the first place. And so that's always an option. Throughout my whole time, like going through pharmacy school, like I've thought, well, maybe residency isn't for me because I just like it's so competitive as a student because there's only so many residencies and a lot of people are trying to do it because they want to specialize in things. And so like I'm trying not to let that discourage me, but it's definitely something that's on my mind. And I'm like, I don't know if there's anything that I'm like any particular area that I'm that passionate about that would make me want to pursue a residency. I will say, like at this point, actually, it's interesting you asked me this today. After just 2 days of being on my acute care rotation, I'm really enjoying it. Like I'm kind of getting a feel for the workflow and I do like that. So I know that residency would definitely, you know, help me to secure a more clinical position. So I got to kind of figure out what direction I want to go.
Oh, that's good. Now, with you saying like you wish you maybe would have started looking into it earlier in your school career, do you have any other like advice for students that are coming in, incoming P1s, or just students that are looking to maybe go to pharmacy school?
So I will say I know everybody like that's gone through pharmacy school is probably going to tell you this, but it does go by super fast. Like you don't think it will, but it does, especially like that first year. They keep you so busy. Like at least, the school that I go to, so it's like that first year you have about 8 classes. And so it's like assignment after test, after quiz, after, it's just back to back to back. And like for me, that syllabus week, you really don't have syllabus week, honestly, but that first week where they're telling you kind of what to expect for the semester, I kind of just like I can't even look at it all because it just like it overwhelms you. But I would just say, just take it a week at a time, take it a day at a time if you have to, and before you know it, like it's going to go by so fast. So just, be diligent, be patient with yourself, and enjoy the journey. It's going to be hard, but it's totally doable. Definitely reach out to your classmates. I would not have been as successful as I've been in pharmacy school so far without like my classmates that have made me study when I don't want to, like quiz me, encourage me, just like, talk to me about life. It's like you have your family and friends, like hopefully, you've got a good support system going into it. But just having somebody like that's literally at the same point, going to the same school that you're going to, experiencing the same like big thing, because pharmacy school, it's time consuming. And so it's really nice to have somebody like people that know exactly what you're going through, like in that aspect to lean on. So those are, I guess, a few tips or tidbits of advice I have to offer.
Well, thank you so much for being a guest on the show. Like that wraps up all of the questions that I have. Do you have anything else that you would like to say to the audience?
No, if you've like listened this long, thanks for listening. It's been nice being on here answering questions. I'm big on social media. Like not like I love Instagram and Facebook. But Facebook's mostly just like, close family and friends. But Instagram, you can reach out to me on there if you have any questions. I love to, help out as much as I can. So
Oh, great. Thank you. And I'll definitely leave all of your information down in the description box. So that's where you can find all of her handles and how to contact her. And thank you so much for being a guest on the show.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for having me.
I do want to thank Kemi again for being a guest on the show. As mentioned before, I have left all of her contact information in the description below, so please make sure to check that out. And also, if you would like to be a guest on the show, or you have a topic that you want me to discuss, or maybe you just want to say hi, you can contact me at podcast@crackpcat.com. Also, for all of your PCAT study materials, check out crackpcat.com. And also make sure to check out their scholarship opportunity. So I'll talk to you guys on the next one.